But I'll give you two examples. One of them is called Piltdown Man. About 100 years ago in UK, they discovered the evidence that once and for all proved beyond a shadow of a doubt human beings in fact did evolve from apes. And how they showed it, here's the skull, take a look. There's the skull, look at the cranium, look at the jawbone, with a little bit of testing, and they got people to go for that. After the two guys that came up with this had both died, it was discovered, and they looked at it a little bit more, examined with some more progressive science maybe. The jawbone was from some monkey, a chimpanzee or something, but it was only about 800 years back. And the cranium was from something else totally, and they mixed the two together. Two different time periods, way, way apart, and from more of a, I'm sure it was a human skull, the top part of it, but how can you imagine that so many people endorsed it and said there it is, and they start writing their papers, do their themes, they do their thesis, they do their PhD, all based on these things. Now, as soon as they discovered it, they should go back and take everybody's PhD away. Make sense? I mean, you do a fantasy story, you know? Something out of Lord of the Rings. What is this? Weird stuff. But it's okay. Still, they would say like this, still even though but we know that there's enough other evidence. All the other evidence has been made since then about this. The hypothesis is coming from this fabricated so-called evidence. Next, right after that, they come up with in America, Nebraska Man. Did you hear about Nebraska Man? Okay, now this one is really big. In the museum, they have the big picture on the wall that was painted. You could look at it and see. Now, in this case, you got a guy here, sort of human looking, a lot of hair sticking out, long black beard coming out. He's got hair is wadded together, and of course he's only got a loincloth on. He's got a bat, a big, club in his hand, and he's like this, and he's got an animal like a deer or something over here like this, and then there's a smaller ape woman looking thing over here beside him, and then the little kid. When they put all of that in there, and you're gonna know, because we got evidence. Here's the evidence. And they put in the display, they put in the counters around it, everything. But the actual only real evidence that they had was one tooth. I'm not joking. It was one tooth. And everything else they drew off of the tooth and knew from the tooth what must be the shape of this mandible, the jawbone, and understood from this tooth what would be the shape of the head, and understood what would be the color of the skin and the length of the hair from one tooth. That was up for over 20 years, again with the people doing the thesis, the PhDs coming by, using this for the proof. Look. And add that up with Piltdown Man. I mean, whoa, look out. That was a good comparison, because guess what? Someone made the connection, looked at it and said, I've seen a tooth like this before in another museum. They went and checked it out. It was exactly the same tooth from the same prehistoric pig. Overnight, they tore down the whole thing, moved the display out, put something else in its place, and went about their business. These are two of the most famous, but the list goes on, trying again and again and again to prove something that just can't be proven, because guess what? It ain't true. Simple as that.